Hey, coaches, welcome back. Football Talk with Coach Chip. Today we're going to take a closer look at the GT counter. I was watching I think it's called the Armed Forces Bowl with Army and Mizzou. Army did a heck of a job, come back and win that game. A lot of guts from those academy kids. But I was fascinated by Mizzou's running back. He was their backup running back. You know, the other guy, they never said he opted out. I think it was kind of the coach and his decision and his family's decision that he not play because he looked healthy. But anyway, this kid did a heck of a job running the football, especially on the GT counter, and probably they'd had a better result if they'd had more GT counter. But let's look at a few diagrams of the play before we go any further. Don't forget, my book is out, My Playbook. This is what I call it, My Playbook. It's about 60 slides. Close to 60 of them are football specific, diagram for you plays, give you blocking rules. Hit me up at siegel.chip@gmail.com, siegel.chip@gmail.com. It's only $20. I'm not charging for the football knowledge because nobody really charged me for it. I'm charging for the time that it took me to put it together. I'm also concurrently working on a buck book, which will have over 100 bucks in it. I'm calling it the Big Book of Bucks. And then I'm working on a jet book, and I haven't come up with a cute name for that yet either. But the Buck book will be out first, should be out after, sometime in early 2022. I've already got some real rough drafts of it out there, and we're working on that. It won't just be bucks, it'll be some things off of buck, like play action pass, things like that, RPOs, also under center, and the unique way that I block buck, and it's still buck, to keep these pesky defensive coordinators from throwing a monkey wrench into our offense. All right, let's look at the GT counter. All right, here you see a diagram of the play. Now, what they did, and you'll see, I'm going to show you some video. Missouri did, this guy was already walked up, okay? So they brought this guy from over here, motioned him right here. I really don't know if that was the call or if it was just a thing that they look at it and say, hey, they got an extra dude over here. They were twins over here and twins over here, I believe. But they said, hey, they're going to put this guy here. We might as well bring him over, the H, the tight end, whatever you want to call him, because it's not bringing anybody else to the party. The kid's already at the party. We need to bring somebody in there to account for him, and it widens the kick. All right, so this is it versus an odd front. The offensive guard in blue must get downhill before flattening out. So he's going to take his step, whether you do the flat pull or whether you do the skip pull, whatever it is you do, your technique, he's got to get downhill immediately. If that kid squeezes right here or this guy squeezes down in here, if he's back here, he's going to get beat. They're going to come underneath his block and they're going to make the play in the hole. So he's got to get downhill before flattening out and getting to the kick. His aiming or striking point on the kick out is the inside number of the linebacker. Or the inside number of whoever it is he's kicking. In this case, it's the linebacker, okay? That's the offensive guard in blue. All right, in green, you've got the wrapping offensive tackle. He must follow what I call the rump line. I got that from a guy I worked for over 20 years ago. And I thought, I love names like that. Kids remember names like that. Nowadays, you're teaching kids a new word for their butt, the rump. Okay, the wrapping OT, offensive tackle, must follow the rump line. The rump line is the down blockers. In this case, he's got to pull at a different level. He's got to get deeper than the guard. So in case this guy comes screaming his butt down in here and blows up the guard and does something illegal, like chopping the guard, they won't get 2 for 1. So he's going to get depth right here and go flat as he needs to go for as long as he needs to go till he finds the down block, and then he wants to scrape paint off the rumps of the down blocks. That's how close he wants to be to the down block, literally close enough to touch the down block, okay? Because if you have to reach out to touch the down block, that means a linebacker, the wheel right here, can get in there. okay, and bounce that thing out here. Remember, that's what defenses want to do. They want to bounce everything. They want to spill stuff. They want to make it spill outside. So you want to be tight, tighter, tightest, okay? And then your aiming point is the inside number of that linebacker. Okay, that's your striking point, the inside number, because the whole idea is for the running back to hug the down block as well. And you do this with over and over inside run. Right here, you want to hug that down block, kind of run what I say about the power play, the A-gap power, run A-gap till you can't. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So he wants to hug that block. And if they bounce it out here. But you want to be tight, tighter, tightest to these down blocks, just like the tackle is. Okay, and I'm going to show you a good video of that where the kid did a great job. All right, now here it is versus an even front. Okay, now what I like to do, I want to block my counter the same as I block my power. Okay, but I don't like it as well that way. So what I do is we're going to look at it, and the quarterback is going to flip it if they're giving us the three. Like if we'd call counter right here, we'd flip it. I prefer it. That's just my preference. It's like I've told y'all before. You know, some things in football it's like cooking. You know, you use salt and pepper to flavor it to your preference. And that's what I like to do. I'd rather run the counter versus an even front to the A-gap defender's side. You know, to a 2-eye, to a 1. Now, of course, versus an odd front, if there are zeros and four eyes, it doesn't matter. But against an even front, I'd rather do it this way. Now, they give you a pair of twos, it doesn't matter, okay? And if you're going to double team the two technique with the guard and the tackle, that's up to you as well, which you probably should do. All right, so this is how we do it right here versus an even front. Due to the front, the OT and the running back, the OT being the green, are now hitting the B gap. Because see, that's where this kid here is. Right here, he's in the B gap. Now if we get a heck of a down block and it washes all the way down in here, then they'll be in here. You follow me? They'll be in here if we get a heck of a down block and wash it all the way down. Okay, let's say this nose is a boar dog, okay, and he holds his ground. That doesn't mean the guard's block is terrible, ruined, the play is ruined or anything like that. But as long as he stays with that guy and neutralizes him here in the A gap, that wrapper can get outside that down block and that running back can follow him in the B gap, okay? That's why I've got it drawn up this way. We're just saying this nose is a sure enough dude, and he is making life miserable for this guard. But the guard's got some bite, he's staying with him, let's say, and he's gonna hold his ground, and we're gonna run it here in the B gap instead of the A gap like we would against the odd front. Now here it is against an even front again, but it doesn't matter. You'll block it the same way with what I'm about to tell you, even against an odd front, if you get a squeezer. If he's really squeezing down, okay, this end right here, this is the same guy. They don't have an extra end. All right, he sees the down block, and he squeezes down on that down block. And as the guard's pulling, right here, he sees it. And so he doesn't necessarily have to get downhill now. He's just going to be flatter than what this is right here and get out here and log the defensive end. Okay, block him from the inside out and seal him inside. The OT sees this, and remember, he's at a different level, so he is not running it. It's not like a two-car pileup on the interstate here, where he is going to run up the guard's butt when the guard has to wrap this guy. He's going to be deeper. You got to coach that up. When he gets his pull, he needs to be at a different level, and he can see that happening, and he can wrap even tighter than what I've got him right here. He needs to wrap tight to that. The running back, of course, sees it. He's been coached to follow the rump line. This guy, the guard, he becomes the rump line right here. And so the tackle gets outside that block, and the running back follows it as well. Okay? Excuse me. The running back follows the OT outside, and it looks like a sweep. Now, I've seen where some coaches, they'll call it two different ways. I don't. I call it one way, and you just practice it, and also film study. Hey, this team this week, they're really playing technique with their ends. They're going to squeeze. So you practice logging a lot that week. During preseason in spring, you practice an equal amount of time. Prepare for the worst case scenario of a guy logging. Let your running back see that thing develop so they can bounce it outside. And of course, your tackle can see it. He gets outside the guard's block. And of course, now his aiming point becomes the outside number because now the play becomes an outside play, and it's the same cockeyed play. And to me, it's not a different play. You just coach it up. It's kind of like when I used to debate with a guy that I've worked with that had a lead for every gap. And I said, Coach, just teach them to run to the bubble and teach the lineman to block accordingly. But he had a lead for both A gaps, both the B gaps, and both C gaps. I'm going, oh, okay. I've never had more than one lead. And it just always hits it. Going to go lead right, lead left, hit the bubble. There's a bubble on both sides. Same thing with the GT. The GT counter, it's one play, okay? And the defense, by playing technique, can make it bounce. And you say, well, you're letting the defense dictate to you. Well, y'all figure out a way where we can run that thing right here, okay, with a squeezing end and a nose that's worth its salt. The A gap is occupied. The B gap is occupied, okay? Let me see that running back. All right, now let's look at a little bit of video. Before we do, don't forget, subscribe, like, and share to Football Talk with Coach Chip. Okay, the like, for some reason, it helps. I'm not sure about why, but it helps with the algorithms, and you get things similar to this. And of course, if you'll click on the bell, you'll be alerted every time I put something new up. Don't forget my playbook at siegel.chip@gmail.com. Let's look at some video. All right, here's got some video right here. Here you see they're shifting. Oh, they were in trips, and they had that linebacker walked up, so they brought down. You see the down block, and look how tight he hit it. Decent kick right here. This guy, and I'm going to show you from the butt shot in just a moment, the end zone shot. The tackle, the wrapping tackle, does not follow the rump line. Does not follow the rump line. And get number 53 here. This is the Will Backer from the diagram a while ago. The back hits that thing so tight. He does what he's coached to do. And watch him. He's going to hit that thing. Boom, right there where 53 can't get him. 53 should have made that play. And the tackle should have come right here. Right there. See, he gets 53. All right, let's let it roll to the end zone shot. Okay, you're going to get a back block here, down. And this does a really good job. He takes a zone step, allows the DN to get inside of him, and he washes him on down. And this guy's going to come down on the DN, and when he sees the DN inserts in B gap, the tackle's got him, he carries on and goes to backside backer. Okay, now the tackle, well, let's go back to the guard. The guard's going to come right here, get downhill, and get the kick on number 2, the outside backer. Okay, the tackle is supposed to follow these guys right here's down block and should be wrapping tight right in here and get 53. Y'all look. See it? It's a good job by the running back, running a gap, as I like to say, until he can't. Okay? Now, this is an example. This running, his same kid, he comes out here and he follows the block, the pullers. He should be following the down blocks, hugging the down blocks. Now, he gains about 4 yards, I guess. Okay, but if he'd hit that joker like he hit the previous counter, he'd have got more, I do believe. Right there. You see it? Right stinking there. Run it till you can't. And I guess he's been coached to hit that right there. See right here? If he hits that joker right there, look, there's nothing there but space and opportunity. Unless that logo on the field tackles him, that Fort Worth logo, salutes you, Fort Worth salutes you logo, tackles him. I don't know what's going to get him because linebackers have over pursued, but he's out here following these blockers. He needs to be hugging him down blocks. He gained about 3 yards. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Let's look at it again. See? He thought about it. Hey, nobody's perfect. Right there, pretty good. Boom. There you go. Now, that was a case where the tackle got too close to the down blocks. You got to rep it and put hands on those guys so you don't trip over their heels. Watch it bounce. Boom. See it, 91 squeezing. Watch this guy squeeze, squeeze, and the guard's going to come right here and wrap. But he squeezed so much, the guard said, "I don't need to block him," and he goes on upfield. See the guard stopped squeezing, and it turns into a sweep, even wider than the diagram I showed you. All right at 16 minutes. That's it for this episode of Football Talk with Coach Chip. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share it with your friends. Subscribe. If you're watching these and you're not subscribing, all you're doing is hurting yourself because you're not getting alerted when they come up. Okay? So subscribe, tell your friends about it, tell all your coaching buddies about it, and just share the crap out of it. Now, if you want to get a copy of my playbook, hit me up at siegel.chip@gmail.com. siegel.chip@gmail.com. I also have a free copy for anybody that asks of my offensive coaching philosophy. Okay? So until next time, be elite.